Applications often need to be configured for different environments using environment variables. Docker provides a couple different ways to pass environment variables into a container, and we'll talk about both of them. We're going to use a sample JavaScript file, as we did with data volumes, in order to illustrate how we can use environment variables in a container. So navigate to the environment variables folder in the code repository and take a look at the script called announcement.js. Now what this file does is it defines two variables, announcer and message, and it'll either use the value provided as an environment variable or the default value if there is no variable. It'll then craft a message and then print it out to the console. Now I'm going to go ahead and try running this using the skills we learned in the data volumes lecture. If you want, go ahead and pause and try to see if you can type out the docker run command needed in order to run announcement.js. I'm going to go ahead and type out the command, so it's going to be -it. We'll provide a data volume, so the current working directory mounted to user source inside the container. I'm going to provide a working directory in order to make sure I don't have to type out the whole path of the file. The image name, which will be node 8, and then the command node announcement.js. And we'll see that it prints out that message using the default announcer, Docker, and the default message, there is no message. Now we can pass environment variables into this container so that there is a different announcer and message by specifying more options. So right before the data volume, I'm going to provide a new option -e to specify an environment variable. So I'm going to have an environment variable. The name will be announcer so that it'll override the announcer right here in my script. And then the value is going to be a string. And inside that string, I'm going to say the announcer will be Jerry Seinfeld. Now when I run that command, we'll see that the announcer is now replaced with Jerry Seinfeld. If I want to replace the message as well, I can specify another environment variable by doing another -e. So I'm going to do -e message equals my show is about nothing. And now when we run that command, we'll see that both the announcer and the message are replaced with the values of the environment variables. Now we're starting to pass a lot of flags into this docker run command here. So just be aware of the required order of arguments for the docker run command. You can find these by running docker run --help. And at the very top, you'll see the order for the docker run options. So make sure that you run docker run with the list of options, which are all of these flags that begin with a dash, so -it, -e, -v, the image, which in this case is node 8, the command, which in this case is node, and any arguments that you need for the command, which in this case is the file announcement.js. Another thing to note is that over time, and also with other applications, you'll usually have more than just one or two environment variables. There could be several. So in order to avoid using -e over and over again, you can also provide a whole file of environment variables to the docker run command. Now inside this folder, if you type ls-a, you should be able to view all files beginning with a dot, or hidden files. And there should be a file inside of environment variables called .env. So this is an example environment variable file that we can pass into docker run. Now the flag that we can specify in order to pass this environment variable file is going to be --env-file, and then the path for the file, which in this case is just going to be the current directory .env, and then we can specify our data volume as before. The image and the command, and we'll see that the output is the announcer and the message defined in the environment variable file.